So what I'm going to do is do 3 different toppings for summer tarts. Here's the first one. I'm starting with a tray with some oil in. I'm going to sprinkle in some sage, little bit of chilli, and I'm going to put this on a low heat and just warm the oil a little bit so that I can infuse the oil with the sage and chilli flavour. Preheat the oven to 180 degrees. I realise I haven't told you what we're cooking. This tart topping is going to be sage roasted butternut squash with prosciutto. The oil is now nice and warm. We're going to tip in butternut squash, give it a toss to coat it all in that lovely oil. Season with salt and pepper and put in the oven for, I'm going to check it after 15 minutes. I'm actually dividing a sheet of all butter puff pastry into 3. I've lined a baking sheet with the paper that the pastry was wrapped in. It's all about not wasting anything. I'm using a fork, punching the fork through all over, leaving the edges. Put that in the fridge for 20 minutes. Preheat the oven to 200 degrees, fan. I've got some prosciutto that I'm just laying out in a dry pan, and I'm just going to cook it for a few minutes to let it crisp up. Place on kitchen paper. Paint the pastry all over with a beaten egg yolk. Put in the oven for 20 minutes. Put the butternuts in a blender and give it a whiz. I've pulsed mine because I don't mind it a little bit rustic. Set it aside until you're ready to assemble your tart. Carefully score just around the edges, just cutting through the top part of the pastry. There you go. And push the middle down and leave them to cool. 3 tarts. First one, filled with the butternut squash, topped with prosciutto. Tart number 2, a very small smear of ricotta that's been mixed with lemon zest, topped with pea puree. The recipe is on YouTube. This last one is a generous amount of ricotta with confit tomatoes. 1 piece of pastry, 3 tarts. If you're growing tomatoes, it's been a bumper year. I'm going to show you how to confit them, and once they're confit, it means you can keep them for weeks and weeks in the fridge. I have halved some cherry tomatoes across the equator, put them cut side up in a tin. The next thing I'm going to do is to thinly slice. I've got 2 very fat cloves of garlic, which I've peeled. I may need a third. We'll see how I go. Preheat the oven to 100 degrees and remove leaves of thyme from their sprigs and sprinkle them all over. Obviously as much thyme as you need for however many tomatoes you're cooking. Generously coat in olive oil. And when I say generously, I mean definitely filling the whole of the bottom of the pan. You can see I've put that's quite a lot. I'll show you. Can you see? It's lovely. Lastly, pepper and Maldon sea salt. Quite a generous sprinkle of sea salt because tomatoes love salt. Making sure you cover all of them. These will go in the oven for 2 to 2.5 hours, but I will check them after 2 hours. Into a clean jar. Anything that you can put in the fridge and seal. Pop in the tomatoes. Spoon over some oil on the top so they're completely covered. put the lid on and store in the fridge. The important thing, so that you don't contaminate the jar when you're using them, is when you are using them to use a fork or tweezers or something to get them out. Don't put your fingers in, because you will contaminate it and they won't keep as long. Uses for them: put them on pizzas. I'm going to show you something right now. Oh, and also, don't waste this excess oil. Pour it into a container and you can use that for cooking or drizzling, whatever. So here's my top serving tip. I've got some homemade ricotta recipe. I've done it. I don't know if I've posted it yet. Pop a little tomato on top of the ricotta. They are so intense and so tasty. Nothing says summer like pea and mint. I'm going to give you a really simple, tasty recipe which can be smeared onto bruschetta or crackers. I've blanched some peas in salted water for just 1 minute. I've refreshed them in ice water. I'm going to drain them now. I also reserved a little bit of the salty cooking water. I may or may not use it. I'll see how I go. I should say I've used just over 200 grams of peas, because that's all I had. In a small pan, I've added finely sliced garlic. Because of the quantity of peas, I've only used about half a garlic clove. I'm going to put in a little pinch of chili and some extra virgin olive oil. That's just over a tablespoon. I'm going to heat it really, really gently. You don't want it bubbling or boiling. It's just going to be enough to infuse the garlic and the chili. Into a mini chopper, I have added the cooled peas. I've got, probably, if it was packed into a teaspoon of fresh mint leaves. This is also a top tip if you want to add lemon to any green beans or peas. If you put lemon juice in, they will discolour. So I always use lemon zest instead of the juice. I'm going to put in about half a teaspoon of lemon zest into this. And one last point on lemons. It goes without saying, for zesting lemons, I do always buy unwaxed lemons. This is just warm. I'm taking it off the heat and letting it stand for about 5 minutes. Add a little bit of the oil. You don't need to add all of it at this stage. A little splash of the cooking water and give it a blitz. Taste it. Adjust whatever seasoning you need. Mine needs a bit of salt, and I think I'm going to put in some more lemon zest, and that's done. Serving suggestions: smear a crostini or a bruschetta with either some creme fraiche or ricotta, a little spoonful of that delicious bright green puree, top with a few chives. There you have it, down in one. Store in a sealed container in the fridge. It'll keep for 2 or 3 days.